Hello, welcome to Helping Others. Mr. Nuka is gonna be interviewing Mr. Cherry.
Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to Helping Others. Some of you who are new to this weekly video, this is something we do here at the Intermediate.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for several years, and I've had lots of students ask me, like, when is Helping Others?
Yeah. I've
So
had
it's
several
back.
say the same thing.
So it's back by popular demand. And I have my first guest, which you guys all know as Mr. Cherry. I think pretty much, I think everybody knows you in the building.
For the most part, they at least know what I am. Whether or not
Yeah.
they know exactly who I am,
Okay.
they know that I'm the principal. So
Okay.
it's,
And that's important. We need to know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you on the intercom, so
yeah.
it's good to put a face.
The front kid, the kids that car riders in the morning, they definitely know, and bus riders and I'm trying to make my rounds and get familiar with everybody. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah. So we hope this video will help you feel the kids will get to see you, a different side of you, and maybe learn some things about you. Maybe they'll have some things in common with you. So I'll be taking other guests. The first couple guests are going to be some adults in our building. We have some new faces.
Yeah, a lot.
So
yeah.
I'm going to try to interview a couple of our newer teachers or newer
that'd be
staff.
fun.
Because I
All
think
of-
I
I mean-
want to learn from them too.
Yeah, and they've all been so excited to be here. It'd be fun to hear their story.
Yeah, and like how they got here.
Yeah.
So let's get started. First of all, your job is?
I'm the principal, which entails a lot of different things.
Uh-huh.
I help the teachers with stuff. We talk about, the different curriculum and that type of thing, which Miss Batten helps us with that too. Obviously, I deal with discipline, and the main thing is I'm here to support the teachers in helping them make kids' lives better. I don't
Yeah.
always get to directly work with every student, but I work with every teacher, and and that passes on to the students.
Absolutely, I love it. And where do you live?
We live in Petersburg, Indiana, so
Okay.
it's about a 30-minute drive from here. We bought the house my wife grew up in. Her mom and dad had owned it like 40 years. It was just too much house and property for them, so they built a little house on the farthest half acre of the property, and we bought everything else in the main house, and we went in and remodeled it and made it our own. And now Lydia, grows up and she sleeps in the same room that my wife grew up in. So it's
And so those
been
who
exciting.
are watching are newbies. They might not know who Lydia is.
Oh, I'll have to share some pictures.
yet. Okay, it's Lydia's his daughter.
Yeah, she's
It's your pride and joy.
everything. Yep.
And she started a big year this year, for
Yeah,
those who don't know.
Yeah, so she started kindergarten this year, and she is actually at Petersburg Elementary because
Yeah.
my wife still works. She still works in Pike County.
Yeah.
She works for Pike County School Corporation, so she goes over there, and she's loving kindergarten, and it's fun being a parent. I've been around school for my whole life. My mom was a teacher, but it's different getting to work on homework with Lydia and her books, and just hear about her day, and it's sad because it makes me feel old, and she's getting old, but it's super exciting.
Well, I think as staff too, it'll be fun for the staff who are watching too. Is like we remember when you started and she was little, and now she's
Yeah.
starting. Like we get to watch her grow up,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the fun
Yeah.
part about working in a school. So, I think that these videos are for our students, but they also are for us adults too.
Yeah.
So, so what is the favorite part of your job here at school?
Just how happy our kids are. That's probably my favorite part is, obviously there's some times I have to see kids unhappy, but then I get to check in on them and make sure that they recover. And, we have kids that I have parents tell me how happy they are to come here, and this is the happiest they've ever been. And kids tell us the same thing. And that's definitely just seeing the growth and the happiness that the kids experience here.
And this question isn't on here, but that you do that in a special way here at the Intermediate. We have the Excellence Board right outside
Yes.
your office.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite things because I get to experience, even though it's only momentary, I get to experience some happiness and excitement and a positive moment with the student when they get to show us their acknowledgement from the teacher. And I wish more teachers got to see how excited they are with, even if it's just something as simple as cleaned up trash or tried really hard, help the new student, help the guest teacher, something that the kid might think is small, but it's really great because they don't have to do it. No one's telling them to do it, and I really love that.
And if we had a whole school of kids that just did like one extra small thing,
Oh, life would be easy.
yeah, we wouldn't have a lot of trash on the floor in the cafeteria. We wouldn't have any trash outside.
Just the little things.
Yeah, we could all pitch in. So, what is one of the hardest parts of your job? You probably talked a little bit about it.
The discipline side of things. When sometimes we have to do some type of action, whether I take away recess or a suspension or something like that. That's the hardest part. I feel like we do a good job of explaining to the students why we have to do it. It's still not fun. I want every kid to have recess. I want every kid to eat lunch with their class. I don't want any kid to be suspended. I want every kid here. And so that's the hardest part. Sometimes we have to do it, and I try to find other ways other than just dealing out a punishment. We want to do a discipline so they're learning from it and they know that we care, because I don't want a kid to ever think that I'm just suspending them or taking away recess because I'm mad at them or I'm unhappy.
Right.
It's just what we have to do to help you learn and realize how we're supposed to act.
That, and we also have consequences.
Yeah,
I've heard you had a lot of conversations. If you did that as an adult, you'd have some serious
Oh
consequences.
yeah, that's our big, and I try to compare it. Most of the kids understand. My big thing is I say if I did that in Walmart, I'd get arrested. We just
We can't be
compare
doing
it.
that.
No, because it's our job to get them ready for get the kids ready for tomorrow. Whether that's tomorrow or 1,000 tomorrows from now, we got to do our part in helping them understand what they can do and what they can't.
Well, we appreciate it. And so we talk a whole bunch in our whole entire corporation about Kids at Hope, and we've been doing that for several years.
Oh yes.
So when we talk about Kids at Hope, the one piece that we are trying to build a little bit better at is our ACEs. And ACEs are adults who make you the person you are. When you're a child, we have 4 different types of ACEs. And these are the ACEs, these are the people that you can go to. They all play a different purpose. And typically we have and I look at my list, so I want to do them correctly. Ace of Hearts, that's your parent, that's the caretaker. And then you also have the Ace of Clubs, which is another caring adult that you've known for at least 8 weeks. And then we have the Ace of Spades, which is a high expectation. That's an adult in your life that you know that you want to try your very best because that's what they expect of you. And I feel like you sometimes play that role in a lot of kids.
I try to.
Not every kid, but
Yeah.
there's several kids that they know you have very high expectations of them. And then Ace of Diamonds is also an adult that gives you an opportunity to succeed. And we see that a lot of time with coaches, just different, we have Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. So a lot of times ACEs can be people in the community, people at school, people at church, people in their neighborhood. When you were growing up around our kids' age, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, who was an ace or two that you had in your life?
So obviously Ace of Hearts would be my mom. It was just me and her growing up,
Yeah.
So she was definitely my Ace of Hearts, still is. I can call her and do. You've probably seen her around because when I need something, she's still who I call.
So those who do not know, Mrs. Cherry is your mama.
Yes, she's our go-to.
She has a direct link to you.
Yeah, so I was very blessed with, like I said, I've made the comment several times, I was raised by a single mom and a football team, so I was very lucky to have a lot of people that were very invested in me to help me succeed, to get me here. Mom was obviously my Ace of Hearts. If I want to go my Ace of Diamonds, I can talk about, her name was Miss Mitchum. She was my health occupations teacher. I took the class in high school.
Okay.
I took it as a senior because it was a 2-hour class, and I got to travel, and it just seemed like something fun to do. It really was. I didn't really have any goals there, and I told her I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I thought maybe I wanted to be a teacher. And she, my Ace of Hearts, or Ace of Diamonds, was a teacher I had in my senior year of high school. She taught the health occupations class, which let you kind of go out into mostly the world of like health jobs, nurses, firemen, that type of thing. Well, I made the mention to her that I thought I'd like to be a teacher, maybe even do some special ed. I wasn't really sure. She decided right away that I'd be great at that. She immediately got me set up with a lot of really good classes. I actually got to spend a couple weeks in my mom's kindergarten class, and then I got to do 4 weeks in an elementary up the road from me with a resource room. I got to do 4 weeks in a life skills class. I got to do just several different. I got a lot of experiences that when I went on to college, even the juniors and seniors there in the education program hadn't gotten to do. And so that kind of let me know that's what I want to do. Thought I'd be good at it. Definitely helped me. A lot of the stuff I learned and experienced then still helps me now, 20 years later, and definitely helped me get on the path that I'm on. Again, I had a very good team around me. My Ace of Spades was definitely my football and my wrestling coaches. I could go on in detail about which ones, but they were the ones that if they heard me doing something stupid outside of school, whether it was sports related or not, they were the ones that came and talked to me. And
because you knew they had high expectations.
And they did. And they knew that I listened to them real well. Sometimes better to them than I did my mom, poor thing. But they were the ones that still to this day I know I could call, and definitely they would help me. Some of them definitely helped me get here. I could go into detail about all of them, but I was very lucky to have several. And then the Ace of Clubs. again, several others, but I feel like my top one there is probably, you know, my Aunt Karen.
Okay.
We joke now that she's Lydia's other grandparent. You know, my mom and she calls her Tata. Those are the two.
Oh, okay.
Those are two grandparents from my side, and she just whatever I needed, you know, was like a second mom. So I was, you know, didn't have a dad around, which, you know, maybe wasn't great, but I didn't realize I was missing out because I wasn't. You know, I had a lot of other people stepped in, and you know, that's kind of why I do what I do. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people took care of me to get me here, and so I want to pass that on.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate it. What is your dream job? That's a good question. I always like to ask this.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, you know, I saw on a TV show the other day, they said, well, what animal would you want to be? And the guy said, why would I want to be anything other than me? You know, and so that, if I have to pick a different dream job, you know, in a perfect world, maybe a zookeeper, just because I really love elephants.
You do?
I like all animals, but I really, you know, I can work with any animal. You know, I can get a lot of animals at my house. We have a lot of animals, but Em won't let me have an elephant. So I think if I had to go do something different, I would go be a zookeeper.
Okay. And then we have a board. Before you were here, it sounds like you had a couple like different things you
Yeah.
did. But what is one of the pictures posted on the board if the students recognize it in the main hallway?
So one of the big things that it definitely helped me get here too, and one of the reasons I wanted to, you know, like I said, I had a lot of football coaches that really helped, and wrestling coaches that helped me get to be successful, you know, to make it to be an adult, to help me graduate high school, go to college. So that was something I wanted to do to give back. So the picture up there is when I coached football at Pike Central, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I've done that since I was 18. You know, wrestling, football, track, just about everything. But that was it was a young man, Eli Coleman, that I grew real close with real quick, and I thought that was a good picture to put on the board.
Okay. So the kids will have to look for that when they see it, when they walk by. Anything else that you want to share with us about Washington Intermediate before we head off for the week?
Just that I hope everybody understands how special of a place this is. I've worked in 3 districts, you know, several different buildings, just because I'm not really afraid to move around, and I don't intend to move from here because I love it. It's just a unique atmosphere and a unique environment that I wish existed at every school in the world, but it doesn't. And that I just hope everybody appreciates that it's not perfect, but it's close, and we're trying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a very great place to be a part of. I feel very lucky to be here.
I always say that. I feel very lucky to be here in Washington in
100%.
general. Love it. So I will be taking some volunteers. I'm going to start with some adults first,
All right.
and then we'll get into some kids, and then we'll have some kids interviewing some people in our community.
All right.
So until then, we'll see you guys later.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. See you next week. Bye.